We are here at Copperstate in Casa Grande, Arizona, about an hour south of Phoenix for the 43rd running of this event. So this is a long-lasting and popular event in the Southwest U.S. I'm Dan Johnson. I'm talking with Steve Bass. He is the, well, what are you here, Steve?
Well, I'm actually the president and the fly-in manager for the Copperstate Fly-In.
So you got all the big titles. Now, you've been associated with Copperstate for a long time. You had other roles in the past. Tell me a little bit about your history with this long-lived event.
I volunteered as the ultralight chairman about 6 years ago. And I guess I did a pretty good job because shortly after that they asked me to join the board. And after I was a director on the board, they turned around and offered me the job of vice president. I should have figured out, hey, there's something fishy going on here.
Anyway, now you got all the big titles, so that's great. It looks to me like a solid event. We've been here since before it opened, watched it kind of bloom out of the desert, if you will. And yesterday and today in particular have been very strong days for you. When you put these things on, in addition to volunteers, there's always a couple of key vendors that have been faithful to you, that are early on sign-ups that help you get the ball rolling again for a successive year. And tell me how some of that has gone for you this year.
Well, it's gone real well, and you know, usually shortly after Oshkosh is when things start to pop for Copperstate, because we're the next show in line generally for that. And you know, some of the people that have been around for a long time, like Aviators Hotline, for instance, a great supporter, as well as Aircraft Spruce. You know, they have two booths together, and that's always been very important for us.
Today I'm looking right out in front of us here, just kind of over the camera, and there are a bunch of fancy automobiles here. Not fancy new ones, but fancy old ones that are looking good. Is that a new feature?
It's actually a new feature. One of our directors has an interest in cars, and last year he invited a few people out, and we had 6 cars. This year we have over 40. And, you know, it's funny because we decided to have the ages 76 and older, and I thought a 76 car is pretty new. So I don't want to age myself too badly here. So, and it's been immensely popular because pilots tend to like cars as well.
Sure, we like to go both ways on that. Everybody's got to drive, but these are not just drive to get to the airplane cars. These are there's some real lookers out here. So that's kind of fun for people that you draw out here. How well do you do at getting the local community to come out and have a look on a Saturday like this?
Well, we found that, you know, the social media works best for us anymore, and so we have a Facebook page. We get a lot of hits on that, and this year we're expanding our radio, AM and FM radio coverage. We used to advertise in the newspapers and didn't get much from that, but people say, hey, Steve, I heard your ad on the radio, so that's we find that's working best for us these days.
Well, I know these are the wide open spaces out here, so people are in their cars a lot going from here or there to work or whatnot, so probably radio is good for you. You mentioned young people, and I know you've done a couple of things with pricing and then with some benefit to young people that you can do from the show proceeds and so on. Tell me a little bit about your plans for youth in aviation or younger people in aviation, Steve.
Well, we all know that youth is the future of aviation. So when I became president, it used to be 12 and under free with an adult. And the following year I raised that to 15 and under free with an adult. And last year I made it 18 and under free. Because most of the kids that come to this event are, you know, well behaved, and they're really keenly interested in aviation. And we have flight schools out here so they can talk to the flight school personnel. That works well. Copperstate has 4 scholarships that we give every year to the aviation camp at Oshkosh, and we take care of all their expenses, including the airfare. And in fact, we're having an awards banquet this evening here in town, and part of the awards banquet, we're going to have a couple of our scholarship student winners come out and talk about their experiences at the camp this past summer at Oshkosh.
That's great stuff. So we applaud your efforts in doing that and working with the good folks at EAA who do that wonderful summer camp where at my home chapter in Florida, they send a couple of kids too. So it's wonderful that that happens. And I know from hearing some others talk about that they really got a lot out of that experience. That's great. You mentioned at the awards banquet that suggests there's some aircraft judging going on. Is that right?
That's correct. I know we have at least a dozen, if not more, categories, and I specifically I cannot tell you, but we do that, and people come up that want to have their aircraft judged. They register the aircraft in the morning, and we generally tend to judge them on Friday and Saturday, and the judges are secret, and everything's kind of secret ballot and everything, and I know just about an hour ago, it's about 1 o'clock. They were just finishing up on the judging, and we'll have pictures, and and they won't know until they attend the awards banquet tonight who the winners are.
So you got to show up to win, kind of thing, almost, or at least to know who won. Once you get here, are we out in the middle of the desert, or have you got facilities nearby?
Well, yeah, we're in the middle of the Sonoran Desert, believe it or not, but so is Phoenix. So we're really, the reason I like Casa Grande, we're about halfway between Phoenix and Tucson. So we're not really in the middle of nowhere, and Casa Grande is growing. You know, they have all the major hotels. In fact, our host hotel of the Holiday Inn in downtown Casa Grande, and they're full up. And the majority of everybody there is attending Copperstate, and that's also where we're having tonight's awards banquet.
Beautiful. I'll give another nod to Holiday Inn myself because that's where I'm staying, and it is a very nice facility with a nice breakfast every morning for us. And indeed, you're right. This morning as I walked out to get in my car to come here, I mean, almost everybody I saw had some kind of flying-related shirt on. A few with Copperstate, some with other kinds of airplanes, all kinds of stuff. So how about camping or parking at the event? Tell me a little bit about those two things.
Sure, Dan. Well, we have camping at the event, but it's dry camping. But, you know, these days with solar panels and batteries, I'm self-contained and I'm doing just great here on the field. But basically across from the airport, we have a couple of campgrounds where you can plug in and have electric and water and a little more luxury if you wish. I think they may have a swimming pool. And we also feed people. We have a food court, and we have food vendors. A lot of the same food vendors come every year, and we have a nice variety of food. And the other thing we do at Copperstate is we feed our volunteers. Beautiful. So we have a 3-day event. They all get a meal ticket, and it's catered in. So it's decent food, and I've had some great compliments on the food this year. So we pretty well we couldn't do the event without our volunteers, and you hear that across the country at any kind of an event. You know, I thought of one thing that I'd like to add. You talk about an air show. We're a fly-in, and we're really a ground show. You look at everything on the ground. However, you do see a lot of flybys, as you've seen on the video today, and that's been going on for all 3 days. A lot of groups hear about us up in the Phoenix area. We have a lot of warbirds, and you've seen several formation flyers come down and make flybys, and that's been tremendous. A lot of them fly by and go back home. A lot of them fly by and land and come over to the food court to get something to eat. So we have a lot going on.
Well, real good. I'm glad you mentioned the volunteers. We never want to leave them out. I'll say a specific camera thanks to all the volunteers that help at this show or any show, because I'm familiar with the organizers of a lot of these events, and all of them agree. You cannot do it without volunteers, so thank you, volunteers. And folks, when you come to one of these shows, be kind to a volunteer. These folks are giving of themselves for the week, and you know, it can be some hard work out in the hot sun all day long doing various chores that need to be done. And as we've been doing our interview here, I'm kind of looking back over the camera's shoulder at airplanes taking off and landing. We saw a bunch of warbirds go by with smoke. We saw a couple of jets flying around earlier. Couple of trikes going off in a flight of 2 right now. You got quite a variety of airplanes. I think I noticed that the aircraft factory and their Sling and Sling 4, they may be new visitors for you here. They're fairly new in the U.S., so that makes sense. And also one from my home state of Florida. The Evolution Trikes guys flew all the way out here from Florida to attend this show and to do other work and whatnot. Are you pleased with the turnout of aircraft vendors and the number and diversity of airplanes you got here, Steve?
Absolutely. Well, we're growing every year now. The word, even though it's our 43rd year, The word's getting out about Copperstate now, and we're seeing a lot of growth. I'm sure we've matched, if not exceeded, the number of exhibitors and vendors from last year, which totaled a little over 80. And, you know, we have everything from ultralights, because I have an ultralight tent, and since I started the event and was ultralight chairman, even though I'm president, I still hang on to the love for ultralights. I have an ultralight trike, I have a light sport trike, and I have a Cessna.
All right, a little bit of everything from the man who is bringing everything here to Copperstate. We're really pleased to talk with you here this year, Steve, and we wish you all the best in successive years. If you want to get more information about next year's event, see who won those awards we just talked about, or find out other details, where can we tell people to go on the web, and we'll put it up on the screen for them, Steve?
Well, I always say these days the best place is to go to our website, which is, of course, www.copperstate.org.
All right, copperstate.org for everybody. You can find lots more about this. We'll have many videos that came from this event, and I'll have articles, and you can find all that and more on both YouTube channel and on bydanjohnson.com. Thanks so much for joining Steve Bass and myself here at Copperstate 2015.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.